right, it is 9:30. We will call the June meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to order at this time. I would ask the clerk to take the roll, and it appears as though he has done that. And I would call on our county board chaplain, Supervisor Joe Zerflu, to come forward for the invocation. I'd ask the body to rise and then please remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
I have a 55-page book of the Chaplain's Handbook from our last chaplain that wrote this back in 2008. I'm only going to do page 1. I saw Mr. Verwink starting to sweat back there. Not you, Brandon, your brother. Okay, bow your heads, please. We call on you, Heavenly Father, as we gather to do the work of our electors have sent us here to do on their behalf. Let us always be aware of the trust they have bestowed on us. Let us always have their welfare in mind, especially for the defenseless and the poor. We also ask that you gather all into your kingdom on the last day, especially those who gave their lives to protect us and our liberty while serving in our country's armed forces. Father, we also ask your protection for our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel who daily protect us here on the home front. Finally, Father, we ask your special blessing on our county employees as they perform their tasks on behalf of our county residents. Strengthen them with your protection and guidance. Help them to see clearly the issues and concerns at hand, and may they share your wisdom in the resolution of their duties and concerns, especially when the defenseless and poor are concerned. We humbly place these petitions before you, Father, through your Son Jesus, our Redeemer, in union with the all-loving Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Supervisor Zerflu. First thing on our agenda today is to dispense with the minutes of the previous session, and I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Hamilton to approve, a second by Fire. Is there any discussion on the minutes from the previous session? Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We have no excusals today. We have no resignations today. Under appointments, we have a reappointment for the Civil Service Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2024. I would put forth the name of Randall Dorhorst. I'd like a motion to that effect. I have a motion again. I thought those were the same guys here. Motion by Hamilton, second by Fisher. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Again, all in favor? You want this on the board, Trent?
Yep. No, they can voice.
All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to a portion of our meeting where we allow public comment, and we do have some new rules that will be coming out here soon in regard to public comment, kind of defining that. But the public comment rules allow 3 minutes for an individual to speak on any topic that would be pertinent to the county board and the business that we are going to participate in today or in the very near future. So we'd ask that if you have public comment, you approach the microphone in the middle, you state your name, and you'll see a 3-minute clock up on the wall, well, in several places up here. If you'll keep an eye on that. I try not to cut anybody off, so I hope you just keep that in mind. So with that, we'll open up public comment. Is there any public comment today? Any public comment?
Gus Mancuso, 5020 Timberland Trail, Grand Rapids. In the very thorough presentation made by the Jail Study Ad Hoc Committee last month, and in comparisons made between our county jail and jails of the 21st century, we learned that our current jail is outdated, unsafe, and lacks capacity. These reasons have led to rising insurance costs, rising out-of-county costs, and the challenge of maintaining this facility. The crowded conditions and the lack of space within the jail has led to increased stress and safety concerns for everyone who has a reason to be at the jail. The current arrangement presents a tremendous challenge to keeping inmates safe, has created a high turnover rate among the jail staff, has led to rising insurance costs, and needless lawsuits against the county. As we've all learned as well, the current jail provides little opportunity for programming to help change the thinking patterns of inmates and give them the tools and support system to be successful as functioning adults outside the system. In working with young people for 45 plus years, I've learned that we cannot continue to do the same things over and over and expect a different result. If we want to change the behavior and actions of people who are in the system, we must change their thinking by providing them help and quality programming on a consistent and regular basis. The current jail situation provides little opportunity to do this. I would think that we all want to use our dollars wisely, have a safer community, have a safe jail, lower our crime rate, help others, and be difference makers. Providing a new jail will greatly increase the opportunity for solid and effective programming, increase the safety of all concerned, and be a current and long-term best use of our dollars. I urge you to be difference makers today, vote yes to today's resolution, and change the course of our community's future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mancuso. Do we have any other public comment today? Any other public comment? All right, then moving on to acknowledgements and recognitions. We have a couple of recognitions today, and at this time I call on Mike Fire. Mike, if you would come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It gives me great pleasure to call on Steve Cruiser. Steve, I know we got you out of your vacation mode, and we had a heck of a time to get you back here, but at least you're here. So would you come forward, please? As Steve's coming up, I'd like to say I've worked with Steve probably for about the last 16 to 18 years. He has 40 years and 4 months of faithful service to the people of Wood County. And I would like to say in the last 15 months, he had a lot of sleepless nights and he had a lot on his mind. Is that not correct?
Oh, yeah. You should be back.
And we're going to miss Steve. He was a great asset to the county as our emergency management. And in behalf of the county, I want to present you with this plaque.
Thank you, Nico.
And you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, you bet. Sure.
Sure.
You sure you want to? Thank you, everybody. So, 40 years, wow, how time flies. I was actually up here, I think it was 7 years ago, saying I'm not going to be here 40 years. Boy, I lied on that one. One of the very few times that I actually didn't tell the truth. But our goal here is, in the 40 years I've been here, we actually put over $25 million in the hands of citizens of Wood County. That's really what we're here for. And without the help of the committee and the county board chairmen, that never would have happened. So thank you for committee members and the county board and committee chairman for trusting us in doing that over this 40 years. Thinking back, actually, like 40 years, wow, if these walls could talk. Don't worry, they're not gonna. You guys are safe. Everybody's safe here. I won't bring on my black foot, so we're all good. Not that there's nothing to really report on that black book either. So 40 years back in the day, like Mr. Zerflu said, I only had 50 pages to read, but I'm going to cut it short. You got a lot on your agenda here. Back in the day, 40 years ago, our committee meetings were at night. And after starting at 6:30, probably, I don't think nobody here really remembers that. We ended up smoking probably a carton of cigarettes between the whole committee members, and we ended up at 11 o'clock at night. Wow, how time changes. For the better, there is no question about it. For all of those times, had a little, went out, I'm still in my fishing mode, vacation mode. I'm heading back out again shortly after my discussion here, or my presentation here, to go to California. So
We went to Door County, and had a little party there with my kids and family, and they said, yeah, you know, how many times have you been with the storms? I've not actually been in one storm situation with one of my kids. We've always been out and about for 40 years. So they had, whether it's a spill, chemical spill that have been out on them, storms, we have not shared any of that with my children. So hopefully they're all growing up now. I can bring that back, but again, I just cut it short here. I want to thank for your support for these 40 years. It's been an honor and a privilege to work for Wood County. Thank you. Oh yeah.
Yes, Steve, personally, we're going to miss you. You're the consummate professional. I think you're universally respected by everybody in the county. You're a trusted confidant, and you have awakened me more than one time in the middle of the night with a crisis. I'm going to miss your voice at 2 in the morning. But anyway, good luck in whatever future endeavors you undertake. All right, thanks. Supervisor Zerflu. Joe, you get to come up here.
This one might take a little longer, Mr. Chairman.
I make a motion.
Point of order.
I'm here to recognize our Child Support Director, Mr. Brent Brewing. I have known Brent since he was that high. I know that's an old saying, but it's really true in this case. And I always knew that someday he would get a citation. But I never knew it would be from the federal government and the state government. I thought it would be to appear in Judge Wolf's courtroom, but so what? I would like to read a short letter from Miss Deborah Barnes, who is the director of the Department of Children and Families for the state. Dear Mr. Verwink, congratulations to the Wood County Child Support Agency for receiving the Federal Fiscal Year 2020 Certificate of Excellence Award. The Wood County Child Support Agency demonstrated excellence in all 4 performance measures: paternity establishment, court order establishment, current support collections and arrears case reductions. The benchmarks were paternity establishment rate 90% or greater, court order establishment rate 80% or greater, collection rate on current support 80% or greater, and arrears case collection rate 80% or greater. Your agency was one of 18 child support agencies honored this year with this award. Sincerely, Deborah L. Barnes, Director. Brent, would you come forward, please? Certificate of Excellence, Child Support Agency, Fiscal Year 2020 Child Support Performance. The Certificate of Excellence recognizes a program that has demonstrated distinction in all 4 federal performance measures. Criteria including in meeting or exceeding the annual goals of the court order establishment, paternity establishment, current support collections, and arrears case collections. The Wisconsin Department of Children and Families, Bureau of Child Support, thanks your agency for the continuous commitment to providing the highest quality service to Wisconsin's children and families. Emily Amundson, Secretary, Wisconsin Department of Children and Families. Congratulations, Brent.
Thank you, Supervisor Zerflu. Just a few words about the award, and we've been able to accomplish this feat on numerous occasions, but this year and the first year we were able to accomplish it are probably the toughest ones. And we had a pandemic, and of course it affected everybody differently, but with the Child Support Office, we faced a big surge in unemployment. When people don't have work, they can't pay their child support. The unemployment program was backlogged across the state, so we're graded basically on how we collect from month to month. And so eventually unemployment came in 3 or 4 month lump sums, but for those 3 or 4 months where we got nothing, we collected 0%. And when you got that big lump sum that came in in the 4th month, it doesn't fix what already happened. And so that was a challenge for us. Whereas we were collecting 81.5%, 82% on current support, last year we collected 80.02%. So we barely made it. It was a tough feat, but we also lost some of the tools out of our toolbox. Our goal isn't to incarcerate folks for not paying child support, and so we do our best to keep them out, obviously for various reasons. Because we've got a jail that's pretty full, right? I think there's some people here that might want to talk about that or hear about that. But we hadn't been able to incarcerate folks up until about a month ago. And so that's kind of our last line of collections. Eventually we have to push and folks end up going to jail for not paying their support. We couldn't do that last year. So that threat was gone. That idea of a collection mechanism was gone. And so we had to operate in a different way. We had to reach people in different ways. We had to work with them in different ways. And so I'm very proud of my staff, the work that they've done to reach our customers, to try to serve them, help them find employment if they need it, give them the resources that they needed. And so it was a unique year. We learned how to do things differently. And some of those lessons that we learned, we will be able to translate to the future as well. And so it was very proud of my staff for the work they did this last year, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brent. We move on to the packet. Page 5 is the referrals. And there were 4 resolutions that were referred from other counties. Those went to the Resolutions and Laws Committee. There was an email from Governor Evers' office confirming the receipt from one of our resolutions in support. I guess Supervisor Clendenning is going to sit on the State Resolution and Laws Committee, and I just want to verify, Bill, that's the 28th of June that all resolutions have to be in, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, is there anything you want to add?
No, we didn't get any from any of the other departments, and we just don't send resolutions, just to have resolutions there. In which I never believed in. I think there's a lot of competition from different counties wanting to be the one with the most resolutions. We couldn't come up with any that we thought was pertinent for the conference.
By the way, I appreciate that. I run that business meeting, and having 80 resolutions to deal with is a lot, so if you can pare that down a little bit at that meeting, that'd be just wonderful. All right, moving on in our packet, the Operations Committee meeting, page 6 of Tuesday, June 1st is page 6, 7, and 8 in your packet. Any questions there? Monthly letter of comments from our county clerk on 9. Comments from Human Resources Department, pages 10 through 15. 10 through 15. Comments from the Treasurer's Office on page 16. Employee Wellness on 17. And then this brings us to the first resolution in the packet, which deals with the construction of a new jail. And I ask the clerk to please read this resolution.
This will be Resolution 21-6-1 to authorize the building of a new Wood County Jail and Sheriff's Department. Fiscal note. Proceeds from general obligation promissory notes not to exceed $58 million for the design and construction of the new jail and sheriff's department, acquisition of land and equipment, including demolition of existing jail upon occupancy of the new facility.
Okay, you've heard the reading of the resolution. I have a motion by LaFontaine. I have a second by Supervisor Wagner. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Is there any discussion on the resolution? Supervisor Winch, did you have something?
Is this off? You.
Push it out there.
There. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know, I think that the repayment on this is finished, started on the light side. I think we're borrowing too much money. 58 million, and they haven't told us what the percentage is, but yet, I don't think we can pay that back at $4 per thousand.
Is there any other comment? Supervisor Roser?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oh, and here, I do not doing it right. This is kind of ironic because this is the second time I've had to vote on this, and it was kind of interesting because when I first got on the county board, we had a resolution like this, I guess 20 years ago. I just want to say one thing because I think our committee did such a marvelous job that the people that have commented to me have not watched that presentation, and that's disappointing to me with all the work that you all put in that. It's very disappointing to me that people make comments without being fully informed. And I would just like to encourage the public, if they've not looked at this presentation and have any questions about the actions that we're going to take today, please take the time to watch that, and please take the time to inform yourself about why, hopefully, what we do here is a good decision. Thank you.
This resolution requires a majority vote. Is there any other discussion on the resolution? All right, I would then ask you to please vote. That resolution passed 18-1. 18-1. Supervisor Clendenning?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to give credit to the committee and a round of applause. I think this was great what they took on, some of the younger people in the county, so I would consider a round of applause for what they did.
That brings us to the second resolution in the packet, which requires a 3/4 majority. If I could have the clerk please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 21-6-2. Initial resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or promissory notes in an amount not to exceed $58 million. Fiscal note, proceeds from general obligation bonds or promissory notes not to exceed $58 million for the design and construction of the new jail and sheriff's department, acquisition of land and equipment, and including demolition of existing jail upon occupancy of the new facility.
I have a motion by Hamilton. I have a second by Valentine. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Any discussion? One more time. Any discussion? I'd ask you to please vote. And again, that resolution passed 18-1, which is about a 95% majority on that. I know Supervisor Clendenning brought it up already, but we took a really deep dive into this. This is something that we've talked about for 20 years. I made the comment then, and everyone you've heard this, that there will be a point in time when the lines will cross, when the cost to house out of county will exceed that to do something. And you guys took the, I'll use I'm gonna get in trouble probably saying something that's politically incorrect. You guys took the bull by the horns, really did a job. You did a tremendous job within the committee. You did a tremendous job within the community. As Supervisor Rosa said, I can't thank you enough for the work you did. No matter where somebody stands on the issue, you guys really did a great job. Thank you, the committee, and thank you, Chair Valentine, on this one. All right, moving forward. Page 20 of your packet, Health and Human Services Committee, May 27th, pages 20 and 21. We have the North Central Community Action Program minutes on 22 and 23. The update from the Wood County Health Department, 24 through 27. 24 through 27. The Wood County Human Services Department monthly report, beginning on page 28 and running through page 35. 28 to 35. That brings us to page 36 in your packet, which is the resolution from Health and Human Services.
This will be Resolution 21-6-3, to create one FTE mental health tech position within the Human Services Department Norwood Health Center budget. The position is currently filled by a contracted staff person. Fiscal note, moving from a contracted position to a Wood County position will save the county $22,815.50 over the remainder of 2021.
And I have a motion by Supervisor Bride, a second by Supervisor Hamilton. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Supervisor Clendenning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I voted for this resolution, but I would like to know that just for our job freeze that we have in the county, so how did this succeed? How did you have to get permission to go ahead and put in for this?
Supervisor Rose, I went through committee, but
Well,
Supervisor Rose.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we followed the process. I guess that's what we were told that we needed to look at positions. It's a no-brainer for me when we're spending a lot of money for a contracted position. It came before the Oversight Committee, the Health and Human Services Committee, and it's my understanding that was the direction from the Operations Committee to look at new positions this way, and so we just kind of were consistent with the process in approving this.
So if I get this straight, maybe I'd have Brandon Lane together somewhere. These are approved positions and already, and we happen to contract for them. They were not out of the budget. They were in the budget, and we were contracting because we couldn't find the personnel to fill or wasn't effective. So this isn't creating an additional position, it's just moving a contracted employee into an already approved human services
That's
position.
my understanding.
If they were gonna create a new position, an additional FTE, that would be a bigger, longer
That would be
process.
a bigger leap.
Did that, Supervisor Glenn, answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. And I just had people ask me, I thought you guys had job freeze. I see that on your agenda, you're going to hire somebody, so I'll be able to answer that correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, I have a motion by Brian, I have a second by Hamilton. Is there any other discussion? Is there any other discussion? Please vote. And that resolution passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to the packet, page 37 begins the minutes of the Wood County Public Safety Committee. That's page 37, 8, 9, and 40. Any questions there? Public Safety Committee meeting minutes of Tuesday, May 18th on page 41. The minutes of May 21st on 42. Report from the coroner's office, and just make a quick comment here. I know it was a point of discussion in the meeting yesterday. We still have not had an appointment from the governor's office in regard to the coroner. I want to make this very clear. This is not a county board appointment. This is not a decision we get to make. This is solely at the discretion of the governor. Since that hasn't occurred yet, I made a call yesterday when I was in Madison, the governor's office, to see if they can't move this along a little bit. I don't know how long the process normally takes, Trent.
Yeah, I looked at, when Scott issued his resignation, I kind of looked at through the governor's appointments, and it looks like it's about a 2-month process. So he resigned in the middle of May, say about mid-July-ish, somewhere in there.
I appreciate that. My note to them was pick one. So we can move on. But anyway, we're getting that direction. So that was page 43. Page 44 in your packet, beginning on 44, going through page 49, are minutes from the humane officer, Supervisor Clendenning.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I just went back to the meeting yesterday, and now that we're on the humane officers, I think in the years that I've been on the county board, I noticed in the humane officer, I appreciated the report when we had 2 people, when we had now just 1 person. And I think that person that is in charge of that is doing a good job and doing a good service to the municipalities where they're being called for. And one of the things is in the town of Grand Rapids, we now have requests for people to have between 2 families. Now it's 9 dogs, 3 and 6. And people, even during the pandemic, got a lot of dogs through the humane societies. And in attending the meeting, and I'm bringing this up because it is on the agenda about the report. In attending the safety meeting the other day, I noticed that the committee had 4 choices about what to do. In my opinion, and they chose one of those, and they're going to act on it again. But one of my biggest concerns is the fact that there was a problem, and I don't think it's being addressed properly with that. So when a resolution comes out to do that, I would hope that in the whereas is why we did that, or why we're changing the way we do things. We've been doing it that way for years, And I saw nothing wrong with it other than the committee, having complaints about it. I never heard the public have a complaint about the performance of that. So I would hope they would go into more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Clendon. Any other questions on the humane officer reports? All right, Sheriff's Department, beginning on 50 and running through page 66. Reports in there, everything from canine officers, jail facts and figures, just about anything else you want. Any questions that anybody has for the Sheriff's Department? They're sitting there ready to answer your question. All right, no questions. Moving on to page 67. That's a monthly letter of comments from our discharge planner. Those run 67 to 71, and I think that gives you a little bit of an idea of what the jail discharge planner does and what the plans are for the future there. And then as I move forward, page 72 and page 73 in the packet is the next resolution coming forth from Public Safety Trent.
This will be Resolution 21-6-4, to provide for unanticipated revenue from the Bureau of Traffic Safety, housed with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation's Division of State Patrol, to finance additional patrol for speed, seatbelt, and reckless driving enforcement through August of 2021. Fiscal note, the costs to be funded in the 2021 budget are in the traffic police overtime function. The adjustment to the budget totals $26,611.20.
And I have a motion by Supervisor Fire, a second by Hamilton. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Any discussion? All right, seeing none, please vote. And again, that resolution passed unanimously. Moving on to the packet, page 74, minutes of the Seed Committee from Tuesday, May 18th. Followed by their regular monthly meeting of Wednesday, June 2nd, beginning on page 75 and runs through page 80. 75 through 80. North Central IDPEC Board of Directors meeting, beginning on 81, runs through page 83. The report from Extension, beginning on 84 and runs through page 87. We're going to have their annual report to the board, I believe in September, Trent, is that correct?
Yes.
September. Land and Water Conservation, their monthly report to the board beginning on 88 and running through page 93, 88 to 93. Monthly letter of comments from our Planning and Zoning Department, beginning with Director Grunenberg's on 94, and that runs through page 99. Citizens Groundwater Group meeting on 100 and 101. And then we have various minutes from the Economic Development Recovery meetings, which have been extremely helpful through the pandemic. And as we're winding down there, I'm not exactly sure where we're going or how often they're going to meet. Jason, are we going to continue to meet in the near future?
Yeah.
As long as all grant dollars keep rolling in, you're going to keep meeting.
Yeah, is this on here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, during the pandemic, we were pretty much meeting in some cases twice a week. We throttled that back a little bit to about once every other week. Once we kind of got things under control. In the future, we're looking at probably meeting on a monthly basis. Yeah, we're still trying to pick out a day, and typically those meetings will probably be through like a WebEx type environment. We still plan on meeting in person probably quarterly, so those will continue as we move forward to kind of work towards implementing the county's economic development strategy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the participation we've had really from many, many different entities within the county to help us through this process, so thank you very much. We have the next thing in the packet, page 107, is from the Department of Planning and Zoning from the city. And that's followed by a resolution from C dealing with the Town Lincoln zoning ordinance. Trent, would you please read the resolution? Page 108 in your packet.
This will be Resolution 21-6-5, to approve the Town of Lincoln zoning ordinance and official zoning map. Fiscal note, no cost to Wood County. The Town of Lincoln is responsible for any costs associated with administering their town zoning ordinance.
I have a motion by Supervisor Clendenning, a second by Supervisor LaFontaine. Any discussion on the resolution? Any discussion? Please vote. And that resolution also passed unanimously. Bringing us page 109 in the packet, minutes of the Judicial and Legislative Committee meeting of June 4th. That's 109, 110, 111. Any questions there? I was looking at Supervisor Clendenning, there his hands hiding. There you go. I thought I saw him moving. Bill.
I'd just like to let you know that this on your desk about from the Judicial Legislative Committee, and it was, our chairman said something about it, about people speaking at the public meetings, and I would, it's on your desk now. I would hope people would read this. We've been doing this for about 2-3 months now, and we still don't think it's the right way, but we would like, if you have any input, you can come to the meeting or send an email to us, and we'll take up the issue at the county. I think we're ready to go ahead and probably present it to the county board in our July meeting, but we would like to make sure that you all have a look at what we're trying to achieve. The main thing is I'm making sure that the public has participation in public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Clendenning. Let's look at pages 112 to 114 in your packet. Page 115, 16, and 17, again, a draft position description for the administrative coordinator. Take a look at that. The child support agencies report 118 and 119, and again, I know Brent mentioned it when he was up here, our director, that award wasn't a one-off. We see it generally every year, and kudos to you and the department. It's 118 and 119. Monthly letter of comments from Corp Counsel Kassenholz on 120. Report from Victim Witness Services on 121 and 122. Brings us to the minutes of the Highway Infrastructure and Recreation Committee, their Thursday, June 3rd meeting, beginning on 123 and run through page 125. I'll just make a comment here too. I have the opportunity often to drive through all of the parks, and I know I called Director Schooley the other day and said, I could not believe what great condition every one of our parks was in. I drove through and I just wanted to make sure at his staff meeting that he mentioned that to the entire staff, because it really was incredible. Everything was, just in perfect shape, and nice job, Chad. Thanks. It's 123 through 125. Beginning on 126 and running through page 130, the comments from our highway commissioner and their department, 126 through 130. Department of Forestry Department, the reports, 131 through 134. Our facilities managers report, Ruben Van Tassels, beginning at 138 and ending on 138. I thought I had a bunch of those stapled together. The engineering reports, and I think there's kind of surprise there the way some of this information has come forward, but this process started a while ago, and this deals with some roundabouts that the city's looking at doing, and then following up on this. The committee's looked at this, and I know Peter's weighed in, I think, on one of the letters we received from them recently, but this is basically on Jackson Street over there. Is there anything you wanted to add, Ken? Or? You're good? Nothing you want to add on that? Okay. So that's 139 through 142. The Aging Disability Resource Center of Central Wisconsin, their minutes from March 11th on 143 and 144. Their Finance Committee minutes on 145 and 146. Their minutes from March 11th, 147, 148, and 149. The regular board meeting of theirs on April 8th, 150, 151, and 152. And then we go to the Central Wisconsin State Fair Board of Directors meeting minutes of April 19th on 153 and 154. The minutes of the McMillan Memorial Library Board of Trustees, their special meeting of April 30th on 155, 6, and 7. The South Central Library System Board of Trustee minutes, 158 through 160, 158 through 160. Beginning on page, we have the Jail Study Ad Hoc Committee minutes of beginning with Thursday, May 13th in this packet. Included with that were a lot of letters of support in regard to the resolutions we dealt with today, as long as I thought a pretty heartfelt letter from a member of the public that ran 161 through 173. And I appreciated all of those chiefs being here today in support of something that they had sent letters on. So that's 161 through 173. And that brings me to the end of the packet. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board today? Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? All right, our next meeting is scheduled for July 20th. July 20th. Anything else? Adam? All right, with nothing else to do, then I will
Zeros down.
declare the meeting adjourned at about 10:10. Thank you.